And we are live. Welcome back to the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel. We got the green screen boys at the top and the boy at the bottom. But as per usual, as we always are at the moment, myself and Mr. Paddy Murphy are hosting today's show. How are you, Paddy? You good?
I'm very good, my friend Chris. How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. We've been spending a lot of time in each other's company recently, and we do love it. You know, it's just
Indeed.
I think I've seen you more than my missus.
Yeah, well, I've definitely seen you more than my missus because she doesn't exist, unfortunately. But yep, I agree with you on that one.
Check out Paddy's appearance on First Dates now. Is it First Dates? Is that the one?
Yes, indeed. Back in the day.
Oh, mate, you're a handsome young fella. And talking of handsome young fellas, we've got Mr. Charlie Webb of the LFC transfer room. How are you, Chaz? You good?
Yeah, good man. Doing well, just Liverpool stuff's what my life's about now. Just Liverpool 24/7. So might as well make an appearance on Anfield Agenda once again. It's been like a 3-year gap on the YouTube channel, so we move.
Exactly. And big shout out to the LFC transfer room YouTube channel. Hit 2K subs today. Big movements. So if you want to go subscribe to there, I'm sure Connor will leave some links someplace. But today, of course, I have dropped my phone, so it doesn't help. But we are, of course, sponsored by Manscaped, and I will tell you why. Because Paddy, and you know why. You know how much you have more first-hand experience than me of using this. But they've got the Performance Package 4.0, which is just launched in Europe, including the new Lawnmower 4.0, Weed Whacker ears and no hair trimmer, and Crop Preserver ball deodorant. You need to keep your crop preserved. Isn't that right, Paddy?
Absolutely, and nobody does better than Manscaped. Let me tell you that.
100%, Charlie. And moving on, we've got advanced skin safe technology, Chaz. Okay, this is news to you, all right? Because I'm going to make sure you get some Manscaped and get it delivered with the WFM20 code, which can get you how many percent off, Paddy? How many percent?
20 whole percent.
20 whole percent. That is 1/5. That's like 2 Liverpool players out of the 11. That is insane. Use the code WFM20 on manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. The shipping is absolutely free. So, you 100% need to go over there. So, we've got lots and lots to cover today. We are back just chatting Liverpool as we usually are. We're going to start with the news of Mo Salah. Well, we're not going to start with Mo Salah. We're going to end with Mo Salah because we're going to, we're teasing you. We're going to go to the most recent transfer in the Premier League, and apparently, Chris Wood has had his release clause broken from Newcastle United to £25 million to sign him from Burnley. What are your thoughts on that transfer, Paddy?
Very bizarre. It's a very underwhelming signing in my eyes. It's a signing they would have done anyway before the money. I feel like. Doesn't make a. I mean, it's not like Chris Wood's a madly prolific striker. I feel like they could have done something a bit more exciting. But then again, they have so much money that maybe they're just getting them for the sake of getting them to take them off Burnley. Perhaps it makes no sense for Burnley to sell to Newcastle as well. They're a direct rival. It is a wholly strange one for me.
Certainly is. I mean, Charlie, he's got 49 Premier League goals for Burnley since arriving in 2017 from Leeds. He's 31 years old. I think it's in December.
30.
He's 30 years old, 31 in December. I mean, that's the most Burnley are ever going to get. But apparently, they're furious with letting him go, right?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they don't have a choice because he has a release clause on there. Unbelievable shithousery from Newcastle. I rate it. I rate him very highly. You could have went and got Divock Origi for 15 million. He hasn't hit his peak yet. He's a goal scorer. I think Chris Wood has 3 goals in about 1,500 minutes in the last 1,500 minutes of football, where Origi's got 4 or 5 in the last 300 minutes. So, it's literally Newcastle have just went, you know what? If we can't have nice things, then you can't have nice things to Burnley. And they've just took the goal scorer away, which, you know what? I rate it. I don't even think they'll use him, but I do. I rate it highly from the Newcastle board.
It's a very, very interesting signing. Paddy, do you think that spells the end of Burnley in the Premier League?
Hopefully, yes. But yeah, no, as Charlie was saying, it is hilarious. I reckon they're just signing him for the sake of so Burnley don't have him. Oh, I don't think he'll even play that much. He's not that great of a player. He's not prolific. He's not what Newcastle need, I don't think. But yeah, just for the sake of taking them off Burnley, it's funny. What can Burnley do with that 25 million? I don't know. And yeah, I'm seeing that comment there as well. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
The Origi would make a lot of sense for Newcastle, but I don't want it to happen. But like, they need to look they have the money to go into other leagues and find someone exotic, like, and take a role on them. But I do think that'll be the end of Burnley now in the league.
Sean Dyche's never going down, I'm afraid.
Do you not think?
Nah, I reckon he's a sick manager, Sean Dyche. I think he does well with what he's got. I think Maxwell Cornet was a really, really good signing from them. I was surprised that they actually got him. So I think if you give them 25 million, look, Burnley don't get any money at all. That's like one of the only transfers he's made. There's obviously talks of Tarkovsky going there as well, but I assume Burnley aren't going to be talking to Newcastle anymore. I don't think they're friends with them. So I throw that out the window. I'm still convinced Connor Cody's going there. But I think he'll do well with that 25 million. I think they've got a few players that they'll look at. They'll probably bring in another forward. You can definitely get a better forward than Chris Wood for 25 million. So I think
in today's market, do you think? Chris Wood in the last 4 seasons has scored 10 goals, 10 goals, 14 goals, 12 goals. That's proven goals, mate. That's proven goals.
Yeah, of course. But if let's say they come to Liverpool and they say, here's 17 million, give us Origi. Liverpool say, thank you very much. Here's your Divock Origi. He actually scored goals.
Highest scoring season in league football is 7.
Yeah, he's been a bench player since he's been at Liverpool. You can't look at that. Chris Wood's played every single game for Burnley. Like, I think they go out and they get a decent player for set 15 to 20 million, and then you've got a bit more money to spend. So I think it's good business for them. 25 mil for Chris Wood is an absolutely terrible. Like, if they weren't doing it just to annoy them, that is a terrible, terrible deal. Like, Burnley are on the winning end of that if they can get somebody good. You can get better than Chris Wood.
Definitely. Do you think that potentially, I mean, this is a comment from Ninja here. Do you think, Paddy, that potentially a destination for Divock Origi, if he does leave Liverpool in January, is Burnley?
Absolutely not. I feel like Burnley is the antithesis of Origi as a person and as a player. Absolutely not. He'd be ludicrous to go there. It would make sense from a Burnley point of view. I think he would be exactly what they need. But I think he's better than Burnley. Jesus, like, surely, like, he's a Champions League winner. You know what I mean? So, and a Premier League winner, of course. So no, I think he'll end up somewhere a bit better than Burnley.
I'm going to pose this question because I posed it to Paddy yesterday, Charlie. If Newcastle, it depends on how Eddie Howe's going to set up. Does Divock Origi, if he did go to Newcastle, would he get ahead of Callum Wilson?
Well, at the moment, yes, because Callum Wilson can't play football for 2 months. So that's obviously a no-brainer. But I don't know. Eddie would he play 2 up front? I think then, yeah. But I don't know. It's a tough one because Callum Wilson's a proven goal scorer, but I do think he can go missing in games, and he gets injured a fair bit as well. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I think at the moment you'd pull a Wilson over him purely just because Wilson's got first team experience in the bank. He's a proven Premier League goal scorer. But I think you give Origi a full season in front of, like, a full season as a striker, and I reckon he bags you 15 goals at least.
That's what I said.
Yeah, starting every game.
No way.
Yeah,
way.
I agree.
No way.
Absolutely.
Not for me at all. But we'll put that to the chat. If Origi was first choice at a club like Newcastle, when they're playing to his strengths, would he score 15 goals? In my opinion, he wouldn't, because I don't think he's got the balls for it. If you do want to have good shaved balls, Manscaped is the place for you. But I don't think that he's got the mentality for it. I think he's so much better in a squad where he can be dripped in, and he's done that. He was voted in the worst signings ever when he went on loan back to Lille in Ligue 1. He was terrible. And he was bad for Wolfsburg as well.
Yeah, I think he got voted the best young player at Lille.
He got voted for the worst when he went back on loan as well.
I thought that was just at Wolfsburg. I swear he got voted.
No, it was.
That's a long time ago. Are you going to judge Mohamed Salah when he was at Basel, like when he maybe scored like 4 times in one season? Yeah, but no,
it's different though, because Origi's not proven himself. He's not.
Yeah,
No,
because
not on.
I think he has though.
Does he get the chance to prove himself week in, week out?
Yeah,
No,
that's
like
true.
when he comes on, he does a job, doesn't he? Like, yeah, not always.
Mm.
Last season, for instance, I think last season it just wasn't on it, but every season before he's been called upon, he's come with big goals, and he always steps up in the big game. No one can deny that. And I think when he's played this season, he's done well, as he's done good. Like, we need to hope he's fit for the next like month or two, because if not, we're playing with a front three of Minamino being up there, and I'd rather Origi than Minamino.
Yeah,
I tend to agree.
believe.
I would tend to agree, and I love Taki, but I think Divock provides something completely different. I mean, you are from the LFC transfer room, as I am as well, Charlie. We're going to talk more about outgoings today than incomings, because we are Liverpool, and in the current market, that is more likely to happen. So we're going to go from back to front, and discuss players' futures, whether they have a long term future at Liverpool or not. We'll start with you, Paddy. What are your thoughts on the future of Neco Williams? Obviously, he didn't play against Shrewsbury. I believe he has a COVID or a little injury. How long does he have left in his Liverpool career, and what sort of fee do you think we can command for him?
Well, on Neco, like last season, I was not a big fan of him. I thought he was horrific in some of the games he played. That's just to do with a lot of, he's a young kid, inexperienced. I do rate him. I think he's decent. He's a solid backup, but I think that's as much as he'll ever be at Liverpool, a backup. So I think you then go look at what Neco wants himself, and I think he wants to go and play. He wants to be able to cement himself in that Wales team even more so for the upcoming qualifiers. I don't know. Is he playing? Is it Ukraine? No, that's Scotland. They're playing Ukraine. Who's playing?
They're playing Austria.
Austria, you're fucked. Actually, no, that'd be a good game. But no, I think Nico's going to leave. I think he could leave this month. But I don't think it'd make a lot of sense from a Liverpool point of view, because then again, no, actually, I would like to see Neco go, because I'd rather see Conor Gallagher be the backup, a fellow Irishman. So yeah, I think he's a great player as well. So I think we're covered in the right back position. Promote Conor Gallagher to the full-time backup, and then get about 15 million.
Conor Gallagher,
Bradley.
I take Conor Gallagher.
Conor Bradley, sorry, Conor Bradley. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if Conor Gallagher. Yeah, Conor Gallagher. Yeah, sorry, that is actually his Irish name. No, I'm joking. No, sorry, Conor Bradley. Apologies. Yes. I think he's more than a competent right back. I think he's fantastic. So yeah, sell Neco for about 15 million, at least 10, but I think you can get up to 15 for him.
I think as well, Charlie, Neco being not as good as Trent does not make him bad. I think that does happen a lot in our fan base, because Trent is just like on a different planet, but Neco's still a very, very solid option. And I think if he was around maybe 2 or 3 years before Trent, he gets in and he gets established in that Liverpool team. But unfortunately, he's around in the era of the greatest fullback this club's seen in its history, probably.
Yeah, I think every single right back at the moment at Liverpool is a bit like, I wish I could play somewhere else, because, unless Trent moves to midfield, which is another debate for another day, they're realistically going to be playing second fiddle. And I don't think Neco has got to the point where he's even good enough to be Trent's, right back cover. Because I think when there's going to be a drop off when the second option does play, but I think there's far too much of a drop off when Neco Williams plays. I don't think he's a right back, honestly. I think he's 6 foot, isn't he? Gomez is 6 foot. Or is he 6'2"? I wouldn't be opposed to playing him as a little centre back or Nico Bale. I mean, I wouldn't do it at Liverpool, but some other club might have a bit of success at that. But
yeah, certainly wouldn't do it at Liverpool. Yeah,
yeah. I think he's just too. I don't think he has the right skill set to be a Liverpool fullback, unfortunately. Where every single time I've seen Conor Gallagher, he's
you said it as well now.
Yeah, I was joking.
Oh shit! I'm an idiot. Never mind. I felt good there for a second.
Every single time we'll make his middle name Conor Gallagher Bradley. We'll just assume. Every time I've seen Bradley, he's impressed me. He's very like Trent. I think he needs to work on his defensive skills, but that's just a Liverpool fullback trait, isn't it? He said as well after the Shrewsbury game, Jurgen Klopp's got full like he trusts Jurgen Klopp everything he says, and Klopp gives him the freedom to go forward and make stuff himself, because that's how Liverpool fullbacks play. So I'd sell Neco Williams now. I don't think he's needed anymore, because I'd rather see Conor Bradley's development come through. I think, we can cash in for 10, 15 million. His contract ends at 2025, Neco Williams. So, that's 5 years. So you're going to have to pay full price for him. He's a Welsh international who gets in the team without even playing. So, again, that commands a bit more fee. He's homegrown as well, because he's been trading a club in England for 3 years until he was 19. So, look, I think you can probably get like 15 to 20 million for him, and I think he'd do good at a Premier League club, honestly. I think he's probably gutted that he didn't go to Southampton, because I think Southampton would have been a great move for him. But someone like Brighton, for instance, would be a good team, but you've got Lamptey. So, yeah, I'd sell him. I think Bradley he's starting to overtake him at this point. So that's bad news for him.
I'm going to pose this to you, Paddy.
Hopefully not would be my answer.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like that, the fact that could even be a possibility scares the life out of me. Like, no, Neco Williams should not be playing on the wing. That shows the drop off is insane. Sadio Mane to Neco Williams, like Jesus Christ. Now, don't get me wrong, he's shown glimpses like against fucking Preston in the League Cup, or But I think in the big games it'd be a ludicrous decision, especially considering he's not really used to that place. He's only played there a couple of times,
Yeah, I've said this on LFC Transfer Room a couple of times on our streams. It sounds like at first you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, what's this loony talking about? But the more you think about it, you're going to be like, it's a sick idea, that. Kostas Tsimikas on the wing.
Okay.
I'm not against that. I'm not totally against that.
He's not as good as defending as Robertson. He's got an absolute rocket on him. And he's good at he's sick at crossing. Is he going to provide us the same? Yeah, is he going to provide us the same
he's too
level?
One-footed, Charlie.
So is he going to? That's what I'm trying to get. Is he going to provide us the same level of like skillfulness and link? Like he's not Sadio Mane. I'm not expecting him to be Sadio Mane, but I think we have that left side locked down. No one's getting past us on that left side if we played him. Look, it's not an ideal situation, but I'd still rather play him than Minamino on the left. And I you know what? And I think as well, I just want to see it. I think it'd be sick to see Tsimikas on the wing. Like I reckon he'd be up for going anywhere. Scouser, the Greek Scouser. Let's see you score some goals, mate.
He could do a lot worse. He's good. I know he's very like left-footed, but. He's very nimble, he's very skillful, he's very good at link-up play. And to be honest with you, we don't have much choice. And the fact that Liverpool Football Club are relying on backup left-backs to be our winger just shows you the position we're in. But listen,
that's only a Charlie Webb concept. I genuinely don't think that...
do you know what? Yeah, every single person I've told has been like, bit hesitant. But you're playing devil's advocate here, so don't listen to Chris.
I'm not playing devil's advocate. Can we just strip it back? It's Kostas Tsimikas at left back. He's got no experience there. At least Neco Williams played there in a youth team. Like there is some substance to that argument.
And he's terrible there.
Yeah, exactly.
Tsimikas on the left over Neco Williams.
But another pro to Neco Williams and potential buyers is that he can also play left back and left wing back. I think specifically for him,
could play left back conceivably. It doesn't mean I'm good at it.
I can play.
He plays there for Wales and plays there well. So he is a great little player, Neco.
Is that saying much really? Wales, come on now.
Oh,
come on now.
He's rattling them.
If you're Welsh and you play in the Premier League, I think you're guaranteed to start for Wales. Like, you know what I mean? Same with Ireland. If you're Irish and in the Premier League, you start for Ireland also. To be fair,
Callagher
Michael Obafemi play for Ireland.
He's actually. I didn't even realize Michael Obafemi's English. He was seen celebrating England in the Euro, so he's on the block list now. Kelleher doesn't start for Ireland, but that's because Bazunu is actually far better. To be honest with him. Gavin Bazunu, really good. He's going to be like a top keeper. He already is, but he's going to go to the top. Fact. So Keller, but I think half of Ireland's team is English. To be fair, there's a lot of English. What's your man's name? Your Wales' striker is definitely English. What's his name? The big guy.
Kiefer Moore.
Is he Irish? He's English, isn't he?
Kiefer Moore's from Torquay.
Yeah, that's England, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's in south of England. Yeah.
I was
Well,
thinking. Well, listen.
England have got a few Irish players. Declan Rice, Jack Grealish as well. The Irish.
As much as I always banter about it, to be fair, like what Rice and Grealish are obviously mad English. Like they obviously have the Irish connections, but the Declan Rice one always finds it funny, man. Like he hated England, like when he was playing for Ireland in the youth setup, but he made the right decision. Let's be honest, Ireland are a bit shite.
Yeah, do you know what? I want to see Curtis Jones play for Nigeria. I think that'd just be funny. Because I think his granddad's Nigerian. His granddad's
definitely
African.
Gets in the England squad in the future, though.
Yeah, boy, it'd just be sick, wouldn't it? Imagine
mad.
seeing Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones will never start for England, surely.
I didn't say he'll start for England. I said he definitely gets in the England squad.
Do you reckon he'd get in the English team?
Yeah. He's
over Mason
20.
Mount and Foden.
Yeah, no,
I
not in the
suppose,
team,
well,
in the squad.
no.
I mean, if you look at it,
maybe.
Stephen Colker got in the England squad once.
He
Like,
played
end
up
of
front
day.
for us and he was sick.
That was the maddest signing ever. So
That was
random.
funny. That was so funny. I watched that Norwich game back the other day. It was just mental how bad we were at defending. Like Alberto Moreno. Do you remember the penalty that we gave away? Alberto
Don't talk to
Moreno
me about Alberto Moreno. It gives
tackled
me
the player.
flashbacks.
He tackled the player and then he got away with a stonewall penalty. The player gets up and then he just does it again. And it gives the referee no...
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It's just like, how stupid can you be?
I've tried to block out every single Alberto Moreno memory out of my head, and I don't want to think about him ever again unless he's saying something about Man United. See you later, Man United.
Get out,
See you later.
Man United.
Yeah, get
Get
out.
Get out, Man United.
That's such a good impression, Paddy.
That's the biggest contribution he's had to Liverpool in his whole career. That Man United,
True.
get out.
To be fair, he's got a good goal.
Apparently,
on his debut.
Jones's granddad is Jamaican.
Oh, is he?
Oh, there you go. Moving on from Neco, they went on for a lot longer than I expected, to be fair. Go to Nat Phillips, another player who's been linked with Newcastle United, like every single player under the sun. Charlie, where do you think he'll end up? Obviously, there was a £7 million unnamed bid from a club, but will Nathaniel Baresi, the Bolton Baresi, where do you think he will go?
I think he'll go to West Ham, but really quickly, Jones's granddad's Nigerian. I've just searched it up. I have to be right. I'm sorry. I think he'll go to West Ham. I think it's a sick signing for them. With the amount of players they've got out for 15 million, you're getting a Premier League proven signing, a Premier League proven player, and I think he's more than good enough to start for probably 60% of the Premier League, or maybe even more. I'd stick him in the United side.
He's better than Maguire. I'm sorry.
Just to be
no debate.
devil's avocado, do we ever so slightly overrate Nat Phillips? I know he's solid, but like,
has he ever made a mistake?
I think we loved him a lot more than we.
Has he ever made a mistake?
I think we had to love him though.
I think I agree to a certain extent, but I do think he massively, achieved more than we were expecting. And yes, I agree. He's fifth choice for us, no doubt about it. Doesn't start for City. He probably has a chance of starting for United, but Chelsea doesn't start for. But I you know what, I'd put him in a lot of teams. If you give me two centre backs from every Premier League club, I'd probably stick Nat Phillips in a good 12 or 13 of the clubs. Maybe not as the best centre back, but definitely as the second centre back. I think he's good on the ball. He's amazing in the air. He's not like the best dribbler, but if he plays for Burnley, he's not going to need that. So it's. True. I think he's a great player, and I think if he wasn't as if he wasn't around the mold of like a 90s centre back, just smashing heads together, I think you could probably get like 30-40 million for him if he didn't look like a big lanky fella. But because he is 6'4" or whatever, like quite skinny for a bit of his build, I don't think he's as attractive on the eye. So that's how we're going to own, because we're only going to be getting 15 million from him, and I think he's worth a lot more if you judge him on his talent. And we have a 6-year contract with him, I think, or 5 or 6. So, but I do think he needs to leave to get his career going, and I don't think I don't want Liverpool to hold him back because he helped us massively to get into the Champions League this year. So I'll always be watching his career. But yeah, I think he should leave, and I think West Ham would be a great place for him, or Newcastle. I don't know why Newcastle aren't going for him because 15 million gets him.
Yeah. Paddy, if I say the same with Jared Bowen, but if his name was Nat Phillips, would he go for a lot more?
Yeah, there is a what Charlie was saying there as well. There is a thing to that about he's not like an attractive option in the traditional sense. He's very old school, but I think that's why he's a breath of fresh air, because he doesn't have any airs or graces. He came into this Liverpool team with no ego. He had nothing to lose coming into the Liverpool team, so I think that's why he played so well. Just no nonsense, done the job, nothing fancy, just done what you need to do. And sometimes you need a centre back who can just do that. So yeah, he'd be a good option for a lot of Premier League clubs, to be fair. I hope he doesn't go to Burnley, because I feel like, as I said, that I'll see him in the Championship next year, and I think he's above the Championship for sure. But a Newcastle would make a lot of sense. They do have a good centre back partnership though with Fabian Schär and Lascelles, but I feel like he could definitely challenge them and get in amongst that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk in the comments about Joe Gomez. I'm going to throw my 10 pence in on this one. I think people are very easy to forget how good Joe Gomez was. He was, I would argue, top 5 centre backs in the league when we won the league, and again when we won the Champions League. I think, the other way around. Sorry. I thought he was exceptional in both seasons. Yes, he's had some terrible injuries, but I genuinely think on ability he's our second best centre back. Maybe not on form, maybe not in the way that he's going to come back, but I think we just need to give him a chance. But what are your thoughts on that, Paddy?
I feel like Joe Gomez, I think he needs to leave for his own sake, unfortunately, because I don't think he dislodges Virgil van Dijk or Konate. I feel like Konate is here for the long haul. I think we're going to see Konate here for like 10 years, 8 years. Obviously, Van Dijk's slightly older, but I think by that stage we'll have outgrown Joe Gomez, and I feel like for his own career, his own ambitions, like to get into the England team, like he's better than he's better than Tyrone Mings, he's better than some of the centre backs that play for England, so he deserves to go somewhere and get a move. And I feel like those rumours about Aston Villa would be unbelievable. I feel like he should go and get himself some game, because he deserves to be a starter for a Premier League team, but I just don't think that's going to be for Liverpool. And I feel like it depends on him. If he's happy just to stay there and chill, fair enough, but I think sell, cash in on him. But I obviously don't want to sell both of them, so it's a case of what the club wants to do. But if I was Joe Gomez as a man, I'd be looking to move on to get into the England team for the possible World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. From a personal point of view, for Joe Gomez, Charlie, where do you think would be a good destination?
Aston Villa. I think that's a good side for him. I think he needs somewhere that isn't as high as intense of a game, because every time we play him right back, he gets injured. I think that it's like 2 of his 3 major injuries have come from him playing right back. So I think he needs to play somewhere where he is going to be the centre back, and he's going to be that Virgil van Dijk-esque, where he doesn't have to. Yeah. He's not doing all the work, because look, at the end of the day, he's 24. He's still young, but he's not, the 21 that he was 3 years ago when we won the league. So like 21, 22. So it's. And I agree with Paddy. Can't see him dislodging anyone in front of him. I think you choose
Matip as well, actually. So
yeah, I think you choose Matip and Konate ahead of him, just purely on the fact that they, aren't getting injured every game. And it's a shame to say that. I think he's following a very similar career path to Naby Keita, which is sad to see. We see the quality there. We know how good he is. But when he plays, he can't stay fit. And do you know what? When he's played this season too, I haven't been impressed with him at all. I can't remember who it was, but he partnered up with Billy Cometio at Anfield.
Oh,
and he was absolutely shocking. The Cometio was poor as well, but he's young. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Gomez was the senior player there, and he didn't look comfortable at all. So it's it's for his sake. If I was him, I'd move. But if he, as Paddy said, if he's fine to sit on the bench, then sit on the bench, or you like for us. So
Jesus,
yeah, definitely. Moving into the midfield, there are a couple of names who are out of contract in 18 months' time. Paddy, two players who divide the fan base, I think, in Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Where do you think Liverpool will go with their contract situations? Because it's either, for me, it's sell or keep for long term, and I can't see either of them for either of them, if you know what I mean.
I think Ox is a sell situation, absolutely 1,000,000%, and I'm all on that. I'm afraid. Naby Keita, though, I feel like we've lost money on him no matter what at this stage. We spent 54 million or so on him, so I reckon we just let him run down his contract. There's no point in trying to recoup a measly whatever million you take. I think still persist with Naby and hope for the best. He hasn't, and as Anthony said there, he hasn't been really injured that much this season. I feel like he's been absolutely quality this year, and he's a world-class midfielder on his day. So for me, I want to persist with Naby because I know there's a world-class footballer in there, whereas with Ox, I don't think there is. I think he's declined. He's still a good option, but again, I think cash in on him. But for me, it's keep Naby. That might be a bit hypocritical, but I just think Naby's a better footballer, so he's worth the persistence.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing is with Ox, I think this season he's played a lot more, and therefore he's become more of a sellable asset than Naby has. And he's English as well. Don't forget the English tax to add on to that. But Charlie, where do you think Oxlade-Chamberlain? Do you think he'll stay, and do you think Naby Keita will stay?
I think they're both going to stay. I think we'll probably extend Keita's contract. No one's buying him for the price. We're probably going to be lucky if we get 20 million for him. I think we just hope that he can stay fit, which is sad. But I think no one really buys him, and I think Naby sort of is fine playing this bit part with the opportunity of when he is fully fit to be one of the three midfielders. So I think we probably offer him a new contract, probably at the end in the end of this season, when we probably get Robertson's contract and a few others. But Ox, I can see Ox wanting to play. I think he's getting frustrated, and I do think you'll probably see a Premier League club coming for him next season on a cheap. And if it's too little, I don't think we'll sell him. We'll just keep him. 40 million was far too much for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He was playing
Think
wing
about the
back.
market. Think about the market at the time, though.
No,
it was massively inflated by Neymar's transfer.
Yeah, I understand that, but he was playing wing back a failing
and it was
Arsenal.
deadline day, wasn't it? Wasn't it deadline day as well?
I don't know, but it was a dreadful signing. I like Ox as a person.
Whoa.
Look, he's had a good moment at Liverpool. He scored a good goal against Man City. That's his claim to fame. And, I've always said this. I think if he wants to be the presenter of LFC TV and, the Liverpool YouTube channel, I'm more than happy. I think you do a great job at that.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's that good as a midfielder, unfortunately. I don't think he knows his favourite position. I think he's an okay midfielder. He's absolutely terrible on the wing, and he tries too hard when he goes in the false nine. Maybe his best position is wing back. Maybe Arsene Wenger had it right this whole time. But if he does want to sit on the bench, sit on the bench. I'm not bothered. You can play Carabao Cup games and beat up on Tranmere Rovers and Shrewsbury. But I think if we get a good offer over 10, 15 million next summer, I think we sell him and get someone else and put that to the Jude Bellingham pot.
What I will say about all the discussion we've had, boys, is that pretty much all of them, apart from Naby, have been homegrown players, and this is an issue which we're going to have to conquer soon. I mean, and we'll have to sign players who are homegrown as well. So how do you combat that, Paddy?
Combat what? Having so many homegrown players?
Well, having not enough homegrown players to register.
Just up the ante in the academy and just trust youth more. Trust youth.
No,
but I hate
trust. Paddy. Paddy.
Fuck me. But I feel like there's a lot of good youth players coming through. in the academy. But I feel like it's fair to say that historically, like Liverpool's academy hasn't been like unbelievable. There's been a couple of gems here and there, but like other clubs have had the march on us in terms of that. Because again, with this club at the size of us, we haven't needed to trust youth that often. We've been able to, just buy players. But yeah, the homegrown situation could become a problem. But I feel like there's a lot of good ones coming through.
Yeah, I agree. I think moving the whole club to Kirby and training them together has made a massive difference.
I think as well, us following the Red Bull strategy. Obviously, Michael Edwards and I think Klopp as well went to Salzburg to check out the whole youth setup and how they bring youth players through. A lot of people are like Red Bull. They train a lot of youth. When you actually look into it, Red Bull Salzburg especially usually buy players from other teams, like we did with Harvey Elliott and like we done with Kate Gordon, and they stay in the youth setup for a year or two and eventually get moved up. Happened with Haaland, happened with Adeyemi. I think it happened with Minamino as well and Hwang. So I feel like we're trying to follow that route. We've signed some lad from Newcastle. His name's
Bobby Clark.
Bobby Clark, yeah, 16. He's meant to be unbelievable. Every Premier League club was after him.
Scoring goals in the under-23s already. 16 years old.
Kate Gordon as well. Another one that everyone was after. Harvey Elliott, another one that everyone was after. I think we'll sign Fabio Carvalho too from Fulham. He's another one that everyone's after. So if we start and when did we move to Kirby? It was like 5 years ago or something. It's 5, 6 years.
it's like 2 years ago.
No, not the main team. The academy.
Yeah, quite a while ago.
Yeah, like when he started to set up the whole like Salzburg mold. I know we've been in Kirby for ages, but we bought the land and expanded it. So I think this is a very with the youth we're seeing coming through, and it's not all just players that we bought from other clubs. Young players, Connor Bradley, for instance, is doing really well. Tyler Morton. I was going to say Billy Cometio, but he was bought from Lyon. He's another one. What's his name? Quinesh. Gerald
Kwanzaa. Gerald Kwanzaa.
Do you know what? I'm terrible with youth names. Remember me, Balagizi one. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I can't even remember, but I know.
Balzagli, I think I called him.
A lot of good players coming through.
Yeah, Frauendorf.
Yeah, Frauendorf.
So Waltman is quality too.
Yeah.
So
a lot of goals.
I think we're really starting to see a shift in Liverpool's academy to sort of reflect the research that we have done for the Red Bull mold. And I think in the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to really start to see that pay off with the likes of Kay Gordon, Harvey Elliott, maybe Bobby Clark as well. We haven't had a striker come through for absolutely years at Liverpool. Probably Michael Owen was the last proper striker. So maybe him and Oakley Cannoneer, is that how I say it?
There you go. He's got one. He's got one, ladies and gents.
maybe him. So yeah, it's exciting.
Saw a comment earlier about Ryan Brewster. I was on the train as well. I still think he's very naturally talented, but it's a shame what happened to him, Paddy.
I had a lot of hope for Brewster. I really thought he was going to be that striker that we were talking about coming through. He still offers a lot. I think he done really well for Swansea, wasn't it, when he was on loan last year, I believe. Hasn't quite really lit up Sheffield United, but I feel like that wasn't a great fit for him. But there definitely is a good footballer in there, and he strikes me as a guy who's good. He's going to persist. And I feel like his time at the top isn't over. There's still a chance. He'll work now. Work in the championship level, build his way up. I definitely think like there's a lot of talent in there. And I don't think he's wasted just yet. But it's a shame it didn't work at Liverpool. But do we have a buyback on him? I think we do, don't we?
Like 38 mil.
Yeah, it's like double what we sold him for.
We won't be exacting that anytime soon unless he turns into a monster. So hopefully one day we do pay that, because that means we're getting a hell of a player. But yeah, I hope it works for him, which is a shame. I really thought he was going to be that guy. But listen, these things happen.
Yeah, Charlie.
His name's Mateusz. Okay, Mateusz Muszalowski.
Yeah,
Mateusz Muszalowski. Yeah,
Mateusz Muszalowski.
And shout out to the Canton end. We are taking on Cardiff City in the FA Cup, which is, I mean, we're getting strangely nice draws this year, which is it's usually reserved for Man City, right?
Yeah, that's my Cardiff 2011 Carling Cup. First trophy I ever saw Liverpool win in the flesh. So
yeah, absolutely. Moving on, obviously, to the forward line. We'll start off with Sadio Mane. His contract again up in 2023, Paddy. I mean, where's the future? Is it sell? Is it keep and let him run down his contract, or is it extend?
Sell.
And why and how much for?
Because I feel like we're coming to a natural end with Sadio Mane. I feel like we've discussed this a lot. We can't keep these players forever. I feel like he's naturally declined. I feel like he's still been okay this season, but he's had a lot of bad performances, and I just don't see how he ever returns to his peak. Don't get me wrong, I hope so, but age is not on his side, and he's just declining for me. So for me, I'd cash in on him. I know he only has 18 months, but I still think we could get 30, 35 million for him, something like that. Maybe even up to 40. Who knows if someone wants to pay that? He's even up to 50. Who knows? But at least 35 million I'd be looking for Sadio Mane. But I do want to sell him and use them funds to go elsewhere to look at his replacement.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie, do you agree with the sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, the Anfield agenda fan base haven't heard my unbelievable thoughts on this topic. We've got a Sadio Mane debate room on the transfer room, so go and check that out if you're not subscribed. Little plug, got to have it in there. I've always been behind. Firmino will be happy to sit on the bench until is at the end of his career, and I think we only keep two of the three from free. Salah has to stay, or there's going to be riots outside Anfield.
We're getting on to that in a bit, Charlie.
Yeah, so Salah has to stay. Firmino, I think he is probably going to be happy to sit on the bench and, get money. I think he's happy in Liverpool. I think his family are well settled, and he's just going to be a nice little backup option. Mane, I think Mane still thinks he's the player he was in 2018. I think he wants to be at the top level still. And as Paddy said, I think we're starting to get to a natural end with Sadio. As much as he is a Liverpool legend and he will go down as a massive part of the trophy winning sides, probably one of the best Liverpool teams in the world. So it's a sad thing to say, let's sell Sadio Mane, but I think we can. Jota was probably his replacement, I think, and he's just come in and sort of replace Firmino instead. But I've always said that I think, last year we put it down to a bad run of form. But even though he scored this season a fair few goals, I think he's still, it's just, his game isn't the same as what it was since he's joined. No. He doesn't have that fearlessness to take on players. He's not attacking, the spaces. He's not doing what he was doing in his prime. And I think if we can get any little bit of money on him, again, 30 to 50 million, I think, we take it. And it's unfortunate because obviously it'd be nice if he was still, at the level of Salah and he was performing at unbelievable levels. But unfortunately, it's just not that. And I think we are drifting away from Mane, and Jota's probably going to eventually be his long-term replacement, and then we'll sign another forward to be Firmino's replacement.
Yeah, I mean, you alluded to it there. I'm going to ask the same question again to you, Paddy. Sell, let him run out, or extend to Roberto Firmino?
I'd extend Firmino.
Yeah.
Then again, but not for an extortionate amount. As Charlie said, I think Firmino will be happy to play like second fiddle and be a squad player for us, which is where he's going to end up, I believe. But he just has that bit of special something off the bench, and even no matter what age he is, I feel like he'll always have some degree of skill that he can unlock a defense. So for me, I want to keep him around. I feel like there's no. I mean, if it was a case where we had to sell him to maybe get someone else younger, maybe let him run it out. But I don't want to sell him. Either extend it or let him run it out. But I don't want to get rid of him. I don't want to get rid of Mane either. Ideally, I'd love to keep Mane as a backup to whoever we get to replace him. Do you get me? Mane would be a great backup off the bench, but he should not be in this next coming season. Mane should not be starting for Liverpool. That's my opinion. But
Yeah.
Firmino won't either. But I think Firmino is a great option off the bench.
I think Mane is a much more sellable asset than Firmino is, Charlie, because I think he fits into a whole more system than Firmino does. I think Firmino is pretty much handcrafted for Jurgen Klopp's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mane started on the right wing when he was at Liverpool, plays up front for Senegal, he's played up front for us, plays on the left for us now. So it's, you know, I keep on saying it, but, you know, getting contact with Newcastle, I don't know if Mane will want to go there, but say Newcastle is a nice little Sadio Mane going here. Best player in the world. Don't know if you've heard of him. But is, you know, give us 40 million. 50 million, little 10 million tax because you're Newcastle. And you know, you can have him. It's Premier League proven.
I don't think Mane would go there, but that would be an
yeah.
absolutely unbelievable signing for Newcastle. It would be a coup and a half, and it would really kickstart their new generation. And if they sign Mane, I think that's almost a guarantee of staying in the Premier League.
Yeah. Do you know where I'd like to see him? And I can sort of see it happening. I think PSG might try and go in for him with them losing Mbappe next season.
Maybe, but I think they do a lot better because I've always professed that I think Ousmane Dembele might end up at PSG just purely because they'll be the only one ludicrous enough to take his wages. But Mane would be a much better option than Dembele would be, even with the age gap. I think Sadio still provides. You know, he'll 99% of the time be fit as well. So look, it's a difficult one for Sadio and for Bobby as well. But I do agree that he would be a much more viable squad option than Sadio would be, purely because of how much he's loved. Not saying Sadio isn't, but how much he's loved and adored by these Liverpool fans, because he seriously is. So now I know we've made you wait 45 minutes, but we are going to talk about Mo Salah. I'm so sorry we've made you wait this long. Paddy's got him on his hat. And he's apparently not asking for crazy demands. Now, I don't know, Paddy, whether that is money or whether that is potential investment in the squad, because it's in the hands of the administration.
Yeah, the stuff that's come out today has not filled me with confidence, I think, is to say the least. Like the thing about asking the demands of investment in the squad, I feel like, you know, the FSG would just be like, oh yeah, definitely. Like there's no like legality there. They can't be enforced or anything. So I feel like it is down to money. I think it's always been down to money with FSG. I feel like Salah's he's probably basing his wages based on the best players in the world and what they offer the team. So in that respect, I feel like he's not asking for much, but in the respect of FSG and their stinginess and their tightness and their watching the pennies. Thank you very much, Liz. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I feel like FSG just aren't willing to budge, and this is, you know, I'm sure we're going to discuss it, but you know, if they do not give this man a contract, they'll be hounded out of the club, and there will be riots, as Charlie said earlier.
Do you not think that people forget very quickly? Because we talk about all this Super League stuff that happened. Yes, they retracted it. We talk about the £77 stuff. Yes, they retracted it. Even there was talk earlier this season when Henderson was getting a new contract that people would riot. You know, people forget easily, Charlie. And do you think it'll be different for Mo Salah?
I don't know how you retract losing a player. It's obviously different from a lot of things. I think if we lost Salah and we went and bought Mbappe, Haaland, and Vinicius Junior, you know, would people still be pissed? Yes, but it definitely softened the blow if we got, you know, even two of them. So it's like, obviously they can make the fans happier, but it's you know what, it's absolutely ridiculous that we're probably haggling over like £50,000 a week for the best player in the world. It's embarrassing as a top club. You think Manchester City or, you know, Chelsea would risk losing the best player in the world if they had him in his squad? Look, I mean, he's probably wanting 350 grand a week, like around that. I think that's what the reports were. He's wanting like 400,000 euros or something. So, you know, it's quite a lot on the 220 grand like wage cap that we have, the structure. But I don't think any player, and I understand what FSG and the administrative team are afraid of. they're going to be afraid that a lot of players are going to ask for more wages. But a large majority of our squad are on long-term contracts now. You know, Virgil van Dijk is probably tied down until the end of his career. You know, Trent is on another fair few years. And I think Mane will probably ask for similar wages. That's why we'll tell him, see you later. But, you know, Firmino isn't going to be asking for that because Firmino knows his role. Jota isn't going to be asking for that because Jota knows his role. Maybe Jota, when he's 29 or 30, will be asking for that. But, you know, that's the future. He might get on his level. But no one's even close to the level that Salah's performing at. So they can't justify asking them wages. And I don't think it'd cause a stir in the dressing room because the players he's with know how valuable he is to the squad. You know, if we didn't have Salah this season, we probably wouldn't even be in the top 4 at the moment. We might be out of the Champions League. Who knows? So it is ridiculous that we're even thinking of not offering him a contract. It's quite sad as a Liverpool fan and as somebody who has given a lot of not sympathy, but I've given them some elbow room, FSG. But I think if they don't sign Salah up to a contract, I think that's my I'll be moving to a different team if the FSG outright.
Yeah, I think the thing is for me that it's really confusing is that if you give Salah a big contract, you see it as probably an investment in. I would see it if I was the FSG as a new signing because you spend probably 85 million across 4 years in a contract for Mo Salah. If you sign a new player for 85 million, will they have the same replicant numbers as Mo Salah? No. So it surely, I know it seems very black and white, and I know there's a lot more stuff involved with that. But Paddy, it makes financial sense to give him a contract.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before. You know, like I feel like the discrepancy between the wages is probably about 100,000. I feel like 50 they'd come to an agreement. It's just bizarre. But as I've said, if you look at the terms, let's say Salah wants a new 5-year deal. He wants 400 grand a week, 350 grand a week. Add all that money up, you know, get a transfer value. You try and use that money to find someone who's going to replicate Salah's goals and assists and what he just brings to the team. Breaking news: you will not find someone to do that. That's the simple fact. So if FSG want to play that game and say it doesn't make financial sense, it's absolutely bollocks because it does. It actually would save the money in the long run because you're not going to find someone the same as Salah for that price. So give him the bloody contract. And like, you know, I think I'm not like being like, you know, I'm not underestimating this here. If they don't give him a contract, there will be war. Like us as fans will not stand for it because if we lose Salah, who the fuck are we going to bring in? Because I know Charlie was saying, "Oh, if they brought in Mbappe or Haaland, that'd be great, wouldn't it?" I mean, I wouldn't want to lose Salah, but if you got Mbappe or Haaland, you'd kind of be like, softens the blow. That's the thing, though. They won't do that. They'll still be penny pinching bastards. So if they don't give Salah a contract, they'll be run out of the club, and rightfully so. And as you said, I'm FSG in because they've brought a lot to the club and all. But if they do this with Salah, I'll be FSG out till the day I die or the day they go, rather.
Yeah, I think something as well, just to add on to that, is, you know, the value of Salah. Like, let's say is Salah's total package for the next, you know, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years adds up to, you know, like 150 million. You know, it sounds like a lot, but let's say you want to go and buy Haaland. You know, you've got 75 million for Dortmund. You've got 20 million signing bonus. Then you've got 30 million to give Riola. And then you've got 30 million a season for 5 years. That's going to add up to about 300 million for 5 years for a risk. You know, there's no guarantee that Erling Haaland is going to come into the Premier League and do the same numbers that he's doing at Borussia Dortmund. It's a risk because we know how players, you know, some players can't adapt to the Premier League, you know, so it's, whereas we could just say, all right, Salah, mate, is, you know, 150 million for the next 6 years. You're a goal threat. You know, we know for a fact that you're one of the best players in the world. You're going to go down as a Premier League legend. You're up there with the likes of Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer. It's and you know, it's not a risk because we know he's going to get us at least 30 goals a season minimum because he's been doing that for us for the past 5 seasons. It's like I just can't fathom the fact that a football club is willing to let guaranteed goals, you know, guaranteed success and challenging, you know, for titles. They're willing to let that go because they don't want to meet his wages. And you know what? I won't even be mad at Salah. If I was Salah, I wouldn't move my stance. And why would you? He holds all the cards, and the longer you let the longer you let it go on, the longer you let this discussion go on, the fans get more agitated, and Salah and his agent get more cards because the entire Liverpool fan base is behind Salah, and FSG are already massively criticised. So it's, you know, it's just getting bad for, you know, FSG and all the board members who are fannying around this Salah deal.
Definitely, yeah. It's a big. It certainly is a big topic, and it certainly would make sense for FSG to get that contract done, and give the man what he deserves. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end the show. Just to remind you, we use the code WFM20 to get all your Manscaped man-shaving needs. They are absolutely fantastic products, so make sure you go and check them out. Also, make sure to check out the LFC Transfer Room channel. Just type in LFC Transfer Room on YouTube. Some amazing content over there. You'll see Charlie's face. You'll see my face. And maybe one day we'll get Paddy over there for a little stream one day.
Sounds
That'd
good.
Be nice.
Sounds
be
good.
fun.
Sounds good.
But yeah, make sure that you are subscribed to the Anfield Agenda, the home of the 2019 European champions, the 2020 Premier League champions, as Paddy is showing off right there. There we go.
We're winning this one. No, we're not winning that one. Sorry, that's Man City's. We're going to be winning this one in May. Fact. Facts only.
Absolutely. There's going to be another one on that keychain. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and thank you so much for all the interaction. There's been so much today. Paddy, we will be back tomorrow, but before the Spurs-Chelsea game, and then you'll be doing a watch-along for that, right?
Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. So there'll be plenty more content tomorrow. We're doing a watch-along over on Twitch for the Spurs and Chelsea game, so that should be interesting. And we should be seeing who our Carabao Cup final opponents will be.
Yeah, and talking to Carabao Cup, I will be available on the watch along on Thursday for Liverpool v Arsenal, just before the Lord is back for Sunday. So make sure we stick around for that, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Bye.